for me, at least me, to be happy with my takes, I have to trigger myself. Seasons change, but the season for a while, and I think probably still is like grief. And I have to get in that place where I'm feeling that to get what seems like an honest product out of myself. And you do that however you can.
Real quick before getting into today's episode, just wanted to shout out a few quick things. First of all, we have a Patreon. For as low as $1.50 a month, you can get early access to these episodes as well as your name in the credits. And with the $5 tier, you can gain access to member-only channels in our Discord server. Secondly, we have merch. 2 designs that we absolutely love. You can find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, see these as they happen. We do those every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. EST. Yeah, that's it. Links to everything I just mentioned will be in the description, along with links to our Discord server and our other socials. That's it. That's all I got to plug. Enjoy the episode. Jacob, man, welcome to the show. How are you doing, dude?
Good. How's it going?
Doing great. I just had a crash out, but it feels great, actually.
I heard.
Oh, you heard it? Yeah, it's true. You heard that. And the funny thing is, I wish I could say it's rare, but it's kind of the same conversation, same kind of thing all the time.
This has been a recurring theme.
Yeah.
What were you like going on about? Was it about music?
No, it didn't really start with music, because that's a funny thing. Like, while Dom is preparing the show, I go everywhere but music. So I think, I don't remember exactly how it started, but it was the whole conversation about limitation within games and movies and stuff. And they had to be so much creative because they were limited with the technology and stuff like that, which led to innovation and creativity a lot, as opposed to nowadays where it's more just like we're seeing things getting less colorful, more just corporate, and it's more of a selling thing, you know what I mean, like in games and stuff. So and when you talk about that, I swear to God, if you get me started on that, it's like I go on, on this. So and people are enjoying it. That's the worst part. If I start, like, then people know how to get me going. So that's that's what happened.
You're showing your cards.
Exactly. So it's entirely on me. But we're excited, though, to get on the topic. Like, it's been the moment we knew it could happen, we were super excited. And let me tell you, when it was announced and when people knew, people were extremely excited. So thank you for doing this, honestly.
For sure. Me and Dom were just talking about that before. Thanks for having me. I think that what you guys do is sick. I told him I don't really like go across the internet looking for this kind of like content, but I don't see anyone doing what you guys are doing, and I think it's sick.
Thank you, man. Actually means a lot, and it's just important for us. Like, it's simple. It's like, if we're not stoked, we're not doing it. So if we have somebody on here, it really means that we are actually stoked. Like, I think it's fair to say, Dom, we never ever just did something to do something or because there's like a hype. It's because we're stoked and we want to give credit, and we're genuinely interested. We're nerds. We actively want to know the stories of bands and what people are up to. So it's the same in this case, I guess all of that to say, likewise, we're excited to have you on here.
For sure, dude. If I had a resource like this when I was like 16 or 17, I would have killed for it to like hear what some of the guys are up to in this genre.
Yeah, the closer was like MySpace blogs, maybe that was, or extent of,
for sure.
Well, or we got like 2.5 minute interviews on the side of a trailer. That was like the extent. There was no extensive conversation to be had. It was more like, "What's your porn star name?" Like that, that sort of stuff. So, and I think, like, to your point, like I think for us it's a similar thing. Like, when we were 16, we would have loved to have heard from all of these people about what was going on. And that's what we're doing now to those same people, just like 20 years later. We're just 20 years late to it. It's better now than never, I guess.
For sure. I think it's sick. Did I think I did a little research on both of y'all, but it sounds like you both kind of came up around like Despised Icon. Do I have that right? Was like kind of like your entry into deathcore?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're like from the Montreal area, so I mean, Despised Icon was like an obvious local hero thing. But I'll say though, I wasn't into like Despised Icon in like 2002 or whatever, right? Like it was, it still came a bit later because I guess even for our age, that was like early, right? For deathcore and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier on stream. We just went out to see Despised Icon a couple of days ago, actually.
Oh, that's sick.
Dude, it was so fucking good.
Man,
it was so awesome.
Like, and playing with Beneath also, Beneath the Massacre and Despised Icon, it was insane.
They were, Beneath was there?
Yeah, man.
Oh, hell yeah. I love Beneath the Massacre.
Yeah, it was like their first show in like 5 years or whatever. They
Dude,
all
Beneath the Massacre is a band
live all over the place.
Oh, for sure. I think Beneath is one of the only death metal type bands that just, even though they're like really sparse and a lot of time in between releases, they get better every single time they put music out, I think.
And it's unplayable also. Let's just be honest. Like it's just
they
like,
somehow get crazier as the years go on. Like but I feel like Despised Icon is in a similar scenario too. Like their recent album is fucking insane, dude. It's so good. And I don't know, man. It's hard to fathom, you know, the age that they're at and like how many releases they've done and to never have gone softer, or their drummer deciding to still drum even faster than before. Like I get the motivation to do it, but like to be able to pull it off and to actually do it, that's like another thing, right? So it's been cool to see, man.
That's sick.
Yeah, Despised, like, and also like I don't think there's more real than Despised Icon, because just for context, maybe for people watching too, like when they started, like they went through so many different eras. Not to say they're old, but I mean like they went through a lot of different eras with different trends, and they just stayed themselves the entire freaking time. The entire time, they never went for like the gimmicky or what it, and they could have like very easily just try some. It was, you got Despised Icon the whole time. This is what you still get today. Super like humble dudes, like great dudes. So I don't think there's a single negative to a band like that. You gotta respect them. So that's how sick. I feel.
I only saw them once, like 12 years ago, I think. It's been a while. They were also with Beneath the Massacre at like 180 cap room. That back then was packed, and they killed it.
Insane.
They're like, it's funny because like here we're used to seeing them in the hometown scenario, right? So here it's like 1,000 cap venue every time, and it's fucking, you know, to me they're like a band that's like made for the big stage. I've seen them in smaller venues maybe earlier on, but since living in Montreal, it's always like, you know, these massive venues and stuff, and obviously the energy is always high. But there is a part of me that kind of wishes I would have seen them. I mean, maybe saw them in like a 200 cap room.
Yes.
During Ilza Modern Man era. But that's like one time. Like I wish that would happen again. You know, you wish some bands you'd be able to see them in a smaller setting, even though they're like so much bigger than that now, right? One
band I was able to see that did that for me was fucking King Conquer. I missed the train with them when they were like playing around areas that I lived, and never got to see them. And then they came out, I don't remember what year it was. It was when they put that single out, Deathbed. And I think they did like one last run. And I got to see them down in Texas, and it was so lit. It was it fulfilled so many things that I wish that I could have whenever I was like a teenager listening to them. It was sick.
And that vocalist too, let's be honest.
Let's
like,
go,
still
bud. Yeah,
that's just like what is happening.
I
Still
know.
to this day, some of the most impressive vocals I've ever heard. Like right now, like one of the best I've ever heard. Crazy.
I would agree with that. I wish that dude would do more music. He's sick. We could get on a vocalist conversation very easily and for a long time.
Well,
do you know who?
That's what we're here for.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So let's just go into it. I remember being really, really struck whenever Nail Dead Risen came out. And Brooks' vocals on that. I remember people that I think probably seemed like they were shifting the game as far as like what you do, how you handle your voice as a vocalist. I think definitely James Martin from Igian. Did you guys ever get into them?
Yeah. We
Dude,
we were lucky to have him on the show. Actually, it was super cool to talk to him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was
He's
at
such
a
a cool
show.
dude.
He is. I've only run across him maybe twice. And he one time that we were outside of a venue, or I was outside this venue where he was at, just talking with someone, and a fan came up to him and asked him very cheesily if he would do a scream for them, and he didn't give a fuck. He just did it at full volume, and it was just perfect. It was like this guy's body was made for this. It sounded like what you hear on their records, but it was just coming out of his body and loud. And I always thought that was so cool.
It's
Another
like
band that I wish would do
no
stuff.
effects, It's so sometimes you can't tell. Like people will use effects even live, and that's just like part of it. But then it kind of muddies the waters of like, you kind of always wonder what would this person sound without like a compressor on their vocals,
Who, what deathcore vocalists use effects live? Do y'all know?
I mean, effects in terms of like everyone's got some sort of EQ and a lot of them do some reverb at least, right? Like I'm not necessarily saying like it's not like they're down pitching their vocals or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still not raw, right? It's still like what I always hated so much was vocalists, and I haven't seen this in a minute, but vocalists would have like so much reverb on their vocal that it would double, like it'd be like an echo, but then it would kind of like work throughout like a song, but then if there was a break or like the end of a song, it would like really like double up in on top of nothing. I was like, like you're like breaking the illusion. I at least wouldn't have like thought about it if there wasn't this echo going on afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you got to go to those links for putting effects on your vocals, maybe I don't know.
Ian, I know you're a vocalist, and Dom, I know you played. I don't know what you did.
I was vocalist as well.
Same.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, it's
Was it Layers of Hatred? Is that right?
Depths of Hatred.
Depth of Hatred.
There's an actual
Layers.
link with the other conversation because Elliot we talked about Beneath, and he actually featured with you guys, right, Mike?
Yeah, we had Elliot on his song. Yeah, they were close buds of ours. So he had him on a track, but
talk about a beast at vocals too. I mean,
dude. And more than just like a beast in terms of how his voice sounds, he looks like a scary motherfucker.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Right? Like,
Yeah.
There's like this iconic photo. I don't know if you've seen it of like, he's like doing his vocals and he's got his foot on someone's head on the monitor. he's like holding the dude's head against the monitor speaker. And I'm like, this is the most badass fucking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love that. And that guy is a monster live too. Like he's another like 100% natural.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like I don't know. There's like some vocalists like that where like it's one tone. You know, there's like there's no fluff to it, but it's just such a solid tone, and he doesn't waver from it, and it's just fucking perft. And it's like I respect that so much, man. Yeah,
I love that. Like, I think we talk a lot also about Jonathan Huber, right? Like from early I Declare War and stuff like that. He's not doing like 50 different tones. Like he's doing it, and it's unless I'm mistaken, but he's mostly doing like his low, and it's perfect. Doesn't need to do anything else.
Jonathan Huber is a big one on my list for sure.
I remember thinking, how is this possible? He was one of the first one that I heard, and I was like, you can do that. Like, that's doable. That was like changed my life, I think, at that point. But
the very, very, very first time I thought that, I was pretty young. It was Frank Mullen for Suffo. And then I think when like the floodgates opened for me was probably Bozeman on Somatic Defilement, if I remember correctly. I think that's how that went.
Y'all broke everything?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Everyone wanted to sound like Bozeman. That was like, you wanted to sound like Mitch, or you wanted to sound like Phil, depending on if you preferred highs or lows. That was like the standard, you know. It
worked. I mean, because it's still going on to this day. It seems like.
Well, it's just back then, a lot of people wanted to, but no one could touch either of those guys. Like it was just like a completely unachievable thing. Nowadays, it feels like everyone and their cousin is kind of like can sound like Phil Bozeman. Like it's just like a different game now. It's like a different. I don't know. People have more resources. It's more, you know, there's tutorials and stuff out there, which we can get into how that affects the entire scene. But you know, it's everything sounds a little bit more samey because of these things. But I just think back then it was just specifically like, holy fuck, like how can you do this? Because like he was like the only person known to man to pull off those kind of vocals, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, I would like to have your opinion on this, actually, because like that's a conversation we had a few times, talking about the fact that maybe it made it a bit more legendary and special to not really know and have all the info out there. It was more of an instinct thing. It was like, can you scream? And nobody was even talking. I don't know about you guys, but you couldn't even hear, oh, this is that technique. It was just like, I'm screaming and that's the screaming that I'm doing type thing. How do you feel about that? Like seeing that now, it's like, it's full of information. And how do you think it affects the scene and upcoming vocalists maybe?
I mean, it's hard to say, because like, I know how I felt coming up, which was, I don't know, it's complicated because there's something to be said for oversaturation, but there's also something to be said for people getting info to learn how to express themselves the way that they want. And so I guess it's a net positive, maybe, with like the tutorials and the videos and like all that kind of stuff with the Xena screaming, you know, type vibe. I guess I would say it's probably positive. But the only downside is that whereas back then you didn't have a reference. I mean, there was nothing to compare any of that to. And so the gap between like that style of vocal performance and I guess the closest, which would be, I don't know, Cannibal Corpse and Suffo, was just unique because I mean, I think it seems special, like what you were saying a minute ago, because you didn't know what was going on. There was just somebody out in the ether that was popping up on the radar, being able to do this thing that resonates with you that you have no idea how that's happening. Same could go for like Mitch and Phil in his own right, with like super screechy like approach to vocals as well. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of muddy. I would like to think it's been positive, but I don't know. What
I
about
think,
y'all?
well, I think, do you want to go, them, or
Well, I'll say my thing real quick. I think it's largely a perception thing. Like, I think ultimately it's just we just hear a lot more of it, right? There's like more bands than ever. There's more musicians than ever. There's more vocalists than ever. So yeah, like ultimately there's a lot of maybe more of the same and more people that are mediocre or mid-level, like just okay, right? But I'd argue there's probably more like crazy talented and unique, because I guess that's the thing we kind of like tend to point out is like back then everyone kind of seemed to sound more unique because it wasn't really based off of like a specific type of thing or a specific technique, or it was more just kind of going off of your gut. So we got more unique sounding stuff, but I think that stuff still exists probably just as much, if not more, but it's like also buried underneath like
Yeah.
the millions of other people that are also doing vocals. So it's like, you know, back in the day there were just, everyone just sounded like themselves, but because we only had like 15 examples of that, right? But now it's like, it's just a different,
less accessible period to be in a band back then. Like you wanted to record some songs, like obviously during MySpace, I'm sure you remember, Jacob, the quality of the, you know, the sound and what we would hear, which was cool in a way, but which I still like. I love like rough demo versions of things. I love that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's way more accessible now. And my opinion on this is that I think it's part of evolution in general. You're going to lose some of the looseness and it feels less special in a way, but I think it's kind of what happens when things are evolving. Like, I don't know why on this show I keep making sport reference when I'm not a sport person at all. But I don't know why it's a thing. But it's like hockey, for example. Back in the days, each person was bringing something. You had like the person fighting, you had like the other one who's fast, you had the tall. Nowadays, you need to be able to do everything. Like there's no, it's like you're good, you need to be good at everything. You take skateboarding, look at, you sent me a video today, Dom, like look at the status of skateboarding.
El Toro, dude.
360 flip down El Toro. Like skateboarding is evolving so fast that like the level now, like people need to be starting at 4 years old to be able to have maybe a chance of getting sponsored, which maybe feels a less special in certain ways, but it also there's tons of cool things that comes with it. So it's always going to be like, it's not like black or white. It's just like, it's in this zone where there's some cool things, but of course you're going to lose some of the original special aspect to things. So that's the way I see it with vocals. It's awesome. I'm glad that people can learn stuff like that. But now when you say you're a vocalist, it's like, cool. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, but now you need to stand out in other ways, which I think now more than ever, you need to sound unique if you want to do something with music and metal and stuff like that. You need to find your voice, because the moment you sound like you're going to be buried in, you know, in 50 billion different bands. That would be my take.
I think something that listening to both of y'all made me realize, a standpoint I probably have on this too, is at least for me, the underlying priority needs to be like expression. If you're just talking about as a vocalist, at least my feelings on doing that is, whatever your sound you're making, the priority needs to be that it goes in your ears and makes you feel like how it felt before it left your mouth. Like you need to bridge that gap of like feeling and expression. And that's kind of where it gets muddy for me, because I remember hearing gutturals for the first time, and it made my soul just like shriek. I was like, that is amazing. It's like the first time I heard a breakdown, it hit me in ways that other things didn't. And so it's like it's hard for me to like have a hardline opinion on it because I remember my relationship with it when I first heard it, and coincidentally, it was like the first time whenever it was happening. But now you have it's everywhere, and so I'm like, well, I mean, maybe all these millions of people are like having that same experience I did, so I don't want to put it down, but at the same time, I kind of
how
like,
can you like how could you like judge that, right? Like
yeah,
you have to have everyone fill out a questionnaire to see if they're
right,
they're truly authentic or not with their vocals.
Right.
I'd be curious though. I'd be curious.
I would too, like deep down for sure. Hey, so here's a good one. Who do y'all think, like, I don't know if this could get into naming. I'm not sure, but like, who do you think
we're game, well, whatever it is.
Sure. Who do y'all think is doing that now? That you hear the voice and you're like, I buy it. Like, I believe you.
No, you're fishing for compliments, my dude, because you're the obvious
Jesus.
choice here.
Yeah. I was about but not kidding. I was about to say that seriously because you're talking about emotion. I was about to say, like, you guys, like your voice, you can feel. I don't think in my life I've heard that level of anger. I think it's the max for me. I know it's subjective, like people are gonna say,
sure.
But for me, the level of emotion of like anger and just like breaking everything, like you hear that and you're alone in your room and you're like, maybe I should be breaking something, like what is you know what I mean? And this is very real. I think I'm going to speak for everybody, and Dom, I would, I think you're with me on this, but it feels real. Like none of that feels fictional in terms of emotion with the music. So
for sure.
But I think there's like the that kind of genre and or vocal, like Darius from Spite, I think is like a great example of someone who does like a similar, like very clearly 100%. Comes from the fucking pits of his stomach. You know, like 100%. You can tell that, right? But I'd be curious to kind of hear you talk about that a little bit, like getting into the getting the emotion out into the music, because I do think it is a particular thing when it comes to screaming. Like I think it's hard for most people to really channel something in like just gutturals or screaming. Like I
would definitely agree with that. My brother, the other vocalist, and I would talk about this quite a bit. I mean, I think it has to be priority. Well, I at least for me, that the priority is what we said earlier. Trying to find the best way to bridge the gap between what you feel and how you sound, matching how you feel, not like how someone else feels when they hear it. And just not stopping until you get of your voice to where that, I guess, whenever, you're sending, it's like sending it back. It's like and I remember having, trying to, like when I first started screaming, it just sounded like dumb old man yelling. I mean, like I had no voice. Like, it's just the infancy of just, trying to make a sound. And I remember the first time, this was before I was even even in a band in at all. I remember, I think it was to ashamed to say it now, but to an As I Lay Dying song, like way back in the day. And I like let out a scream somewhere. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just a sidebar. It's hilarious because I just referenced Darius, and he said kind of like the same thing in regards to As I Lay Dying. It's like, well, I'm embarrassed to say it now, but As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad press around that. But we love dogs here, so fuck them. But I remember like just making like the first successful scream or sound that made me feel something. Like I and that's not like a flex. It's just like you're it's like the same as like making a riff that you like on guitar. I remember the first time that happened, and it like I resonated with myself. And I think maybe I don't know if this is circling back correctly to answer what you guys are asking, but I think that needs to be the priority. A good example, I think better than me, is my brother, because I remember listening to him find his voice, because he played in like deathcore bands kind of coming up through high school, and was predominantly doing like guts, and like mid like screams. But I can't remember if it was before Strangled or right around, it was somewhere in that time frame that he like found like his voice, that the
highs, the like the screechy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like not having a reference, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't listening to Spite back then, because that's the closest example I could think of. But watching him find that, and some other people around us not supporting it, thinking it sounds just it's not it just doesn't sound right, but he just said fuck them and stuck with it, and developed it, and hasn't wavered. And it makes me feel things. It's just menacing, and I think that's a good example of maybe how I feel on that subject. Is you got to stick with it until you find your sound, until you feel something, I guess. I don't know if that's too woo-woo, but that's, I guess, how I feel about that.
I just feel that's like, for most people, I think just most people don't dig that far. Like, I think it's like,
I'd agree.
Maybe there's always also like a, easier said than done component to it as well, right? I think maybe some people just can't reach that. And it is hard and I think, again, that ties back to earlier talking about like in the early deathcore days, there wasn't really much of a reference anyways, but there does become a point where like, what like you can't like undo all the different vocals that you've heard. And I think the more the more the harder it is to kind of ignore that and not just try to emulate something, because
100%.
You kind of know what should be expected of you, type of thing.
I'd agree with that. I think that's definitely, at least in the art world, like to a detriment, I think, and not just like music and not just vocals either. I think we definitely see the effects of that, and I don't think it's good. I mean, again, I don't really have a lot of dogging like to do on any one certain area, but it seems like the ideal situation would be if you could like Men in Black everyone, and like the second you make a great, honest sounding album, you just like blip, and now you don't have memory of any music, and you just start like from scratch. But I mean, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. No, but to your point, I think you can hear, it's going to sound super corny, but I think it's something you can feel when you listen to music, or at the very least, if you're passionate about music, and if it is your life, and we're sitting down here, but we all felt like the entire spectrum of emotions with music, with different songs and stuff like, and when you truly feel it and it's part of your life, and now you just hear a song and suddenly you're back in time to that moment, or you think about someone and stuff like that. If the moment music arrives in your life to that level, I think is when you can feel the authenticity and the realness of people within their own music. So I'm going to take you guys for example. It's real. The way I took it was, this is us. I couldn't give a shit if you don't like what we do. That's kind of what I heard with in a good way. I'm saying that in a way that like, this is up, this is real. We're not doing that to be the next big thing, or to be this or that. That is our product. And that is resonating way more and always than bands that you can tell the opposite, which I understand. They want to do the whole thing. They want to, but I think all the big names in the world, that's what they did. They're like, this is us. Might be weird, might be different, might be something you're not used to. I don't care. And very often those bands are hated on at first. People are like, what is this? And then years later, they're legends. So that's the way I personally see it. The realness and the authenticity is something. Don't take people for granted. Don't think they're stupid when they're listening to music. They can feel that stuff. That's what I would say.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's subjective, but I mean, I hear it. At least I think I hear it. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm so like snooty in my own brain that if I hear a breakdown that like is just not hitting, I'm like, y'all don't give a fuck about this breakdown. I can feel it. It's like I can hear it like in the snare. Like you don't care. I would definitely agree with that for sure. I think this makes me want to keep asking questions like what's music that heavy or not heavy that y'all believe it's real. And it could be anything. Like,
you know, I think and look, this is maybe gets us on a side tangent. I think that a lot of bands' early materials are oftentimes like that. And you kind of often see that bands lose that the more they go down their career. It's not everyone, but I think for the most part, like again, from like a MySpace deathcore perspective, you listen to the Suicide Silence EP and The Cleansing, and you listen to some of these albums and you're like, oh, okay, there's something here. Like there's some sort of intangible energy. There's something that like you know it wasn't for a trend, it wasn't for a thing. You can feel that. And I think most bands, I don't know if it's down the line there's different expectations, other people in the picture, or it's just you're overthinking it, or it's the producer you go to. I don't know what it is, but it seems to be a theme for me at least, where, and we were just talking about this the other day with someone else too, like I just think a lot of earlier albums kind of resonate more with people because of that, specifically because of that, just because it was like 16-year-old kids fucking around in their garage, and you can feel that. Like there was nothing else. It was, I think the youth, and we're seeing that in the revival right now too. And sure, there's like some bands that you can tell they're there for the for the wave or whatever, but a lot of them, it's like dances. Yeah. But it's well, just because it's like it's becoming a cool genre right now. So people are jumping in for sure. But I admire that youthful energy in a lot of people, where it's like you're 16 and like at that age you just don't give a fuck. It's almost naive. Like you're just like doing whatever.
You're at the beginning stages of probably even dealing with your own trauma of whatever, which all kids have. And if music is your outlet, then you're getting the full, like the potency of all that.
Yeah. It's like as raw as it gets, right? That's like when you get it. So I don't know. It's not like specific albums to me necessarily. I mentioned Suicide Silence as an example, but I feel like a lot of, you can tell there's like that 5-song EP from a lot of bands that they wrote when they were 16. You can tell that shit was real, Yeah.
I think the first time I remember acknowledging that, I think that's what I was hearing was Iowa. I think. Yeah, I see you. Iowa.
This is a good example. No, but seriously, it's a very good example. It's anger. We were talking about anger earlier. I mean, that entire thing it was insane and very early too. I don't remember the year or whatever, but it was a while back.
01.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, and to get on the mainstream with that level of heaviness was just like crazy. For me, like you're asking about the realness in music, to me it has a lot to do with I call them visionary, like a very few peoples in the world are like that, and I consider Mitch Lucker to be one of them. Like, I keep talking about Mitch, and it's one of the reasons. But there's a few people like that the moment they're involved in something, you know it's going to be real, you know there's going to be a vision, you know it's going to follow. And there's not many people like that, but the moment you can see it, you can feel it, and they're going to do whatever they have in mind. No compromise. It's going to be them. It's going to be real, and usually it leads to something amazing. The other side of it, to me, would be very few instruments. Like singer-songwriters, they only have their guitar or a piano or something. I find a lot of realness in that. That's the other way. So I know it's a kind of a weird separate answer, but to me, that would be the two places I often found realness.
I think I would agree. I feel like I find it a lot in some ambient music. But I don't know why. I kind of have like a propensity to go for instrumental music, or like I connect with it a little bit more. That and probably maybe a good section of bluegrass. I feel like I find that in as well.
Okay.
Not that this is a fucking bluegrass podcast, but
hey, we're here for whatever, man.
It's gonna be whatever.
Yeah. What is it? What is it about bluegrass? Like what?
Yeah.
What do you think in there that's like the?
Well, so like the flagship for me is there's an artist named Sturgill Simpson, and he has an album called Cutting Grass, and it's I can't pinpoint it any more than I can deathcore. I can just hear it. Like I hear it in the notes, definitely in the singing. The subject matter is relatable, but there's just the overall feeling that I don't, it gets off into a gray area. Like, I don't even know how to answer my own question. Like, of like what makes you feel it. I just know it's like, I can feel it.
But I think that's the thing, right? I don't think there's a lot of it. It's kind of just like a feeling. Like you can just tell, or it just resonates enough with you where you can, you know, I think if you end up resonating with something, I think, well, look, okay. I'm taking this on a wild tangent, but because we had this discussion in the DMs, I want to bring this in here. Because it's just so relevant to this, yet so far off in terms of the topic. But you were explaining to me that you could kind of feel the feeling behind an AI generated song the other day.
Oh yeah.
We're going there. Okay.
Well, we had a whole talk about this.
Yeah. So, but it's so like, right? Like, how could that be possible, technically speaking? Right? Like, again, it's like
I don't know. And that was, I don't know if he told you about this, but we were messaging back and forth, and I think you said something about like AI metalcore, and we were both just ooh. But then I sent you that Sadie Winters song, and I was like, the first time I heard this, it made me cry. And now I find out it's AI, and I don't know how to explain that either, because it still gets me. I listened to it yesterday, and it's just something in the notes, but I'm like, a goddamn computer made this. And so I don't know. I don't know how to explain that.
To a certain extent, and my take, just to make that very clear, because there's actually already enough people who hate me, but in general, AI, no, but like I already have the entire black metal community who hates my guts. I'm just going to try not to make it bigger. I'm exactly everything they hate. But in terms of AI, it's technically based off real thing. It's going to take from certain things. So the emotions that you felt, I mean, if we go up the ladder and where it's coming from, the origins, it couldn't mean that it came from that real place, and kind of it's still the emotion was somehow perceivable, and it got to you even though it was from that would be my best very bad explanation, but that would be the way to explain it, because it's still based on, it cannot create its own whatever like creative, it's coming from things that exist. So it would make sense that some emotions could come from it, I guess. That would be, I don't know, dumb. I don't know if you see it like that, but that would be the way I would see it.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's also, it goes back to what we were just saying. Like, it's hard. We can't even really pinpoint what it is that, you know, we wouldn't be able to create a test for people to like, is this like, you know, a test to figure out if something is like authentic and fucking real enough for it to be something that gets to you or not. So there's something there.
Just the fact, this makes me happy that we're like even this conversation's even happening, because I think there's maybe two people and all the time that I've fucked around with music that I've been able to talk about it like this and it not get muddied, because all of us are dancing around the edges of it just enough because you have to, because it's like whatever it is, it's special. But it's kind of intangible. You can kind of like talk around it, but you can't talk exactly about where music comes from. And I don't know, I guess I was just saying I think that's cool.
Thanks. Well, that's what we like to do. Like, that's I'm a believer that we evolve through conversation, through people. Everybody can bring something, but if you're not there to listen, or if you're defending on the defensive the moment the topic you don't like, I mean, you're never gonna go like that. You're just gonna stay where you are. That's always how I saw it, and I think it's more than possible to have respectful discussions, no matter the topic. By the way, of course, maybe sometimes you hear something you're like you know what I mean, like you're like what is happening, but I think there is value to be able to explore these things.
Just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. Our Expire pre-orders are live for their highly anticipated new album, Too Fast to Die. You can secure 3 limited vinyl colorways, CDs, as well as album-themed tees, hoodies, long sleeves, shower curtains. Yep, you heard that right, shower curtains, license plate holders, flags, hats, stickers, and more. All of that over at indiemerchstore.com. While we're on the subject of tech death, Origin have some brand new merch on the website as well. You can pick up fresh designs and also ones that were previously only available on tour. All of that is available right now at indiemerchstore.com. You can always use code Brutality at checkout to save 10% off of your entire order. Again, that's code Brutality at checkout for 10% off. A massive shout out to Indie Merch Store for sponsoring this episode. And now back to the show.
I do have a question that's kind of related, but we're talking about realness and authenticity. Mm-hmm. If we go back to vocals and you as an artist, like, I know it's real, but do you have something you have to do to be in that mindset? Because earlier I said like how angry it sounds and how crazy it sounds. Like, are they like, is it just you can open up the machine and it's there and that's it? Or do you have like a specific mindset, or maybe is that like too personal? But I would be curious.
No, it's not too personal. Well, probably the best way to answer it, for me, I can't speak for, my counterpart in music, but I can for myself. I get the best takes, the most honest takes out of myself. If I go, I have to trigger myself. It's almost never. I've tried it, and the product's always shit. Like, if I go into the booth and I just go for it. There's maybe been like one time maybe that worked, but for me, at least me, to be happy with my takes, I have to trigger myself. That usually I'm not gonna dodge your question. I'll like try to answer it as straight on as possible. It's fucking like over, just very dramatic. Like like not in a flex type way. I mean, it's I have to I have to sit or stand, if even if it's like in the booth. If there's a song that gets me, I don't know the right way to say it, because I mean, oh fuck, I don't know. I've never really had to answer that question. There maybe is like a sentiment about, and seasons change, but the season for a while, and I think probably still is like grief. And um I have to get in that place where I'm feeling that to get what seems like an honest product out of myself. And you do that however you can. It might be a very specific song or a part in a song. It might be a picture of, you know, someone important. That's a hard question to answer.
I'm sorry. I know it's a big one.
No, it's totally good, and I'm here for it. Yeah, I guess it would be really cool if at some point it was a lot easier than that. But at least for me, that seems to be what gets me where I need to be. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, you have my brother who would huff gallon jugs full of old piss in our recording studio before he would track a part to help, you know, trigger getting in that place too, which I did once, and I can't do that.
Okay, wait. The real question is, was it effective or not?
Oh yeah. Oh fuck
Okay,
yeah. It was
well, there
really
we go.
effective. Oh yeah. Yeah. They just listened to Manifesto. I mean, it worked. It worked really good. No, but in all seriousness, he does have his own process. And like that, I know that's kind of like a long answer, and I don't know how vague that is or if that even answers it right. But that's as clearly as I think I know how to explain it.
It's a great, and so I don't know if you're talking about the next part, but honestly, thank you for being so real. It was as great as an answer as
sure.
I could ever imagine. But it goes to our conversation earlier, though. We see people connecting with you guys and what you've done in music, and it has to be part of it, the realness and the truth behind everything and the real emotion. It goes to my point where people can feel that. You cannot deny those things. You can't. You don't have to like a certain things, but you cannot deny the realness behind it. And
For
what
sure.
you just explained is proving it. 1000%.
I would agree with that. Not that there's not inferring that you're saying this at all, but not that there's anything wrong with light approaches to music and easily digestible music. I definitely have my own, like, that kind of stuff I enjoy consuming. But for me, at least right now, and that might change, I don't know. I feel like, not to like make this about me, but like I feel like I have a lot of work to do in that. Like a lot still needs to come out. So until that feels like, I guess until that changes, then that's at least my approach to writing. And I know we're talking about vocals, but it goes both ways.
Yeah, it goes
for me.
for writing guitar and everything too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Guitar is a little bit less dramatic, thank God, but vocals for sure that way.
I'd be curious, kind of, you mentioned, changing seasons and stuff. There's, you can kind of tell that there's a different vibe going on between the two albums. Like I feel like Manifesto is, like, to your point, like from my perspective, like the heaviest fucking shit in the world. Like, it's the most pissed off, heaviest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard. And while the first album was heavy and pissed off, it kind of also went off in like really different directions at times. And overall, maybe less balls to the wall, you know, start to finish, in terms of that. So can you kind of maybe speak to, like, was it a similar season also for the first album, or was there a flip kind of between the two?
For sure. That's a very insightful question. It's definitely the same season, if you will. Porcelain was like one of the first times that it was like 100% we have control over everything attempt at writing what we wanted to feel. And the dynamic, as far as like what you were saying with like you know, softer stuff, heavier stuff, wasn't really planned. We just knew that we had a shared feeling and wanted to, it was like screaming to be captured somehow. So when we sit down to write out all these feelings with music, like even before lyrics, it came out like what's on the album. There'd be like, I mean, I had like, I think 3 demos or ideas leading into that were all heavy. And as we kept writing and digging like into this feeling, things like Calluses came out, or Vacant, or Scars, and amazingly, even something like the song Porcelain. So in its own right, that was as balls to the wall as we could write at the time. And then the approach with and well, fun fact, what we were going to do, and I won't put too many cards on the table because we might still do it, but we're kind of experimenting. But the idea after Porcelain was to take both elements, like the heavy and the not heavy, if you want to call it that, and branch and flex on both of those harder than we did with Porcelain. So everything that was heavy in Porcelain, we have to destroy it. It has to not be able to stand with whatever's coming next. And we're going to do the same with the soft stuff as well. And for the time, I think we're leaning on focusing towards just flexing on the heavy stuff. So like, that's why the new stuff is taking so goddamn long to write. It has to flex on Manifesto. And
yeah, I wouldn't want to have to follow up on that album.
Yeah. I mean, it's not been very fun so far, but it's also like, it's uncharted territory, which is really great because it's going to keep you from being stagnant and keep it. I think that what we came, I don't even know if we even said this like outright, but in reflection, I think that's probably going to keep us like from getting stagnant in like what's comfortable, even if it is like heavy or whatever, because you just have to keep pushing until it's like what we were talking about with vocals earlier. Like when you first learn to scream, you mess with all these sounds until you start getting it like how you like. It's like with each release, we're treating it like, well, we're doing it in stages. We were able to scratch the itch here, and then we did it even more here. And so now the next thing, it has to be even more there. It can't just be like a repeat or anything. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, 1000%. Yeah. Are you guys? Do you guys have a lot of? And look, I have no I have no clue what the answer would be, so I don't know how personal this would get or not. And feel free regardless. But it just because there's like the dynamic of the two vocals, right? And you guys are brothers and all this. And on one side, you mentioned, you know, he has a way different kind of approach to getting into the zone for doing his thing. Like I'd be curious about the dynamic in terms of writing vocals, or, you know, you talk about you specifically with there's different seasons and stuff. Like, are you guys channeling from different things? Is it shared? Are some things shared? Like I'd kind of be curious to tap into that.
For sure. Some things are shared. The title track of Porcelain, that was shared. The sentiment for sure is shared. Just the global sentiment. As far as like specifics, we haven't even had conversations on that. And I'm very blessed to have like be able to write music with someone like this, that there, and it's not like a unspoken agreement or anything like that, but there's just certain things that we know we don't talk about, and we don't even acknowledge that we don't. It's like and like I said, I'm blessed because I don't know how you could ever even determine this without a conversation, but we have somehow. We just kind of like respect that gray area that you're not supposed to talk about. And I don't know what that means exactly. But that relationship has been healthy for both of us. I think I could speak for him when I say that. It certainly has been for me. I hope that answers that. It's kind of a vague answer.
No, but I mean that would not come from someone that's not your brother. Let's be real, right? Like there's got to be something to be said with that.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I know I'm fortunate either way because I don't know, honestly. I know that we were close, but definitely venturing into Orphan, I feel like have gotten like even closer, which I don't know how you couldn't if you're both trying to capture, this same feeling that we still don't know what it is or how to talk about it, but you're going for it.
Yeah.
I also think it's because it's you're both putting like a lot of you in what you do. I think this is also like you hear all the time, oh, we're going to studio and stuff like that. And not to take away from anybody, it's awesome either way. If you do music, it's great. But for you guys, and from what I can hear, a lot is going into it. Like you're going through stuff as you're recording. It's part of the whole thing. So I heard you saying, oh, it takes a long time, but like there's this whole aspect of pushing things higher, like you said, like we want to outdo ourselves, but then it's also requiring a lot from you guys. So from my standpoint, it just makes sense that it takes maybe a bit more time, right? Would that be a fair statement? Because it's a big thing for you, like it's meaningful. It's not like, oh, let's drop a song. Like you guys are fully in, and
I mean, that seems to be the case. I've kind of wondered that myself. I think so. It seems like it. Like I said, it would be absolutely fine with me if like something broke loose and you were able to like get to I don't know, just a place where you could be more highly productive, but authentic at the same time. But so far this has been the process, so I'm just kind of like having to roll with it. But I would think that's accurate what you said.
I mean, everyone's on. This is kind of the other thing, right? Like I feel like we're we're used to now. We've been so conditioned to music coming out every other year from a band, and these preconceived notions of how long an album should or shouldn't take to make, right? But ultimately, it's like everyone's on their own time. Like, who gives a shit, right? Like, it could take 10 years to put out the next Orphan album. Like, if that's the process you guys need to go down, like, it is what it is, right? But I feel like a lot of people, and I get it, you know, people want more of the thing that they love, right? But I think we're quick to nag at people that haven't released music in 3 years. You know, it's
For
like,
sure,
come on,
yeah.
guys.
And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know why you would like not get into music unless you were willing to, you know, crank it out like that, which it makes sense. It's beneficial in all areas, especially if people like you, because you just keep riding the wave of momentum. You know, you sell more stuff, you get to like make it maybe your livelihood, it just makes sense. Which would probably even be cool. I just know that like for Orphan, that's just not what it wants to be.
It
doesn't seem like anyway.
Well, to me, it's just contrary to making art. Like all the things that you just mentioned, I think are counterproductive to just making good art. And some people make that work, and God bless them. You know, but
for sure.
But I think for the most part, you know, it's not, you know, in an idealistic world, we're not making music for the sake of putting out T-shirts. You know, that's like not
right, exactly. It should be like a byproduct. It seems, I don't know, like how you separate that. I'm not really sure how to do without being extreme on one end or the other. At least for how I want to approach music writing. I don't know. Maybe there's like more of a balance, but I know that one thing for sure that like we don't want to do is just put up a bunch of like false flares or like empty hype or anything like that.
Oh, thank you. My God.
You know what I mean? Like
the classic announcement of an announcement. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And okay, you and I talked a little bit about that, where you had mentioned something about being cryptic, and I was like, it's not intentional. It's just it's not ready. Like at least now, and it's not to say anything won't change because we're open to evolving. But what seems to be the most respectful to the music, well, so far, is get it ready, and then when it's ready, talk about it, put it out, and get off the stage. Like, just put it there, let it be what it wants to be, and probably don't come back until you're ready to do it again. I mean, obviously, like, you can sprinkle the stuff around that, like a merch drop or I don't know, something. But as far as just like the actual music itself, it's like get in, drop it, and get out. I don't know. It just seems right, I guess.
It's also because like we keep talking, you know, we circle back on realness and being authentic and stuff like that, right? And I'm not saying it's not doable, but by doing all these, let's say there's a trend and then your song is out and then you do the trend with your song, like it's impossible to keep the same level of it. You're taking what could have been the vision and emotion originally from people from hearing your music, and then you do kind of a product with its own image. I feel like you take away from the music speaking by itself is how I feel personally.
I think I'd probably agree with that. Do you mean with like post-release, like promotion stuff, like just driving it down people's throats?
Yeah, I mean, like tons of promotion. You know, the classic, like the person, all the stage things, like he goes into a room and then he's, no, but my brother.
You stage a video of the dude walking down the street. Yo, what song are you listening to, man?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Orphan.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah! I just made this dance to it.
it's like instantly, it feels like it's like telling someone, hey, there's a party tonight, but no alcohol and it's finishing at 8. Like,
Yeah, right.
it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's taking away from it. And if there's one thing that I've learned is let your art speak by it. It's so corny, but it's so true. Let it speak by itself. Like we keep referring to Psychoframe. I don't know to what extent if you like Psychoframe, but like they just dropped an EP. They didn't drop their music, and everybody was on board, and it was great. They didn't do like all that stuff or whatever. Like just sick artwork, sick music. It speak back, and look at where they're now. Like they're doing great and stuff like that. So I'm not saying don't do it. I understand the game of it, but to me, it's like it's this thing where can also affect your image and maybe not the way you would like to if you're too gimmicky. And it's coming from somebody who still enjoys like old stuff like crabcore and stuff like that. I know things can get gimmicky very easily, but when you release music, especially we're talking about Orphan here, can you even imagine like look how real it is and how angry it is, and can you even imagine doing a video like that? Hey, no. I'm from Orphan, so of course I'm, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like that would, I don't, you know what I mean? Like
no.
Well,
I mean it makes sense to me. All of that has its place. If it all makes perfect sense to me. Maybe if you had like effective enough team that could help you handle that and not lose whatever you are as an artist, maybe, I don't know. I see its place, but I mean, I don't really have any interest in that, at least not with Orphan. Maybe other like stuff, but
yeah, I think people would be surprised.
If Orphan puts out the instrumental electronic / pop punk record that's soon to follow, maybe we'll see a different side to it. Well,
actually, that'll be next year.
Okay, that's the plan basically. Okay, that's
yeah.
Well, you gotta, it'll be the cash cow, You
go big with that one,
and then you release Manifesto too. That.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very solid. I love that. Maybe we could talk after we get off here, and you could help me put together a marketing plan for this.
There we go.
Yep. Oh, I got we're seeing all the time. I have all the ideas for that, like sketches and.
I'm not supposed
scripts.
to say, but we're supposed to have Ariana Grande on the track like next year. Which is
that's my girl right there. Yeah. That's what's up. Hell yeah, man.
Oh my god. Well, the angry version would be interesting. That's it would be different. No, but like to and not again, I feel like I'm always going into like emotional places and stuff like that. But the thing I do want to ask, and it's positive, is we keep talking about realness and stuff like that. And when I go through your community comments, people who loves what you do, like it resonates like crazy. It must be special for you to see that, right? Like to be so real, but then to see that people are how did that feel? Maybe the first time you notice or people writing to you and listen, it got to them. Like how is it for you to be able to connect it that way?
I mean, it's wild. The DMs is like what fucks me up, because I mean, when Porcelain came out, there was like it was quite a bit of volume, and it's less now, but it still like trickles in. But I don't know how to feel about it. It's wild. There was a gentleman last month. What did he? Oh, his best friend. Dude, this was fucking wild. He sent me a message. It was like on a Monday or something. And he was like, hey, and I'm in and out of messages just to try to stay sane, so I don't like
that. I can relate to that. Yeah.
Right. And so I don't get to all of them, no, for no reason, but this guy hit me up and he was like, I just wanted to let you know that I found you guys the other day, and this music is like helping me through this event I had. He's like, my best friend died like 2 days ago, and he's like childhood best friend or something. And I didn't see the message until a few days later, and I was just like, I don't know what to say about that. You know, you have my sincere condolences. I'm really sorry. And I had my messenger open, and he messaged me in that moment, and he was like, dude, he said that he played Calluses, and I think he said Porcelain or Dying Light for his dead best friend's wife, and that like it was such a helpful coping thing. He said they sit there for like 20 minutes just crying like with each other, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. And I don't mean that like I don't know how to process that. That's it's too, I mean, that's incredibly special. I mean, I don't know what well, you see now, I it makes me speechless. I don't know what to say about it, cuz like, you know, making it is it, like I told you earlier, it was screaming to be made. And it was off of our own experiences. And you know, that's a whole journey. We talked a little bit about that. But that's where like all of this music lives in my head. Is it's not for other people. It's not even really for me. It's like to get this thing out. But then for the byproduct to be, you're getting people telling you stuff like this. It's just wild. I don't know. I don't know how to answer your question is basically what I'm saying.
You just did. You just did very well for that matter. But the way I see it, and I do want your opinion on this, but we're in that place where we're more comfortable to talk about processing emotions and therapy and stuff like that. But we're still in a place where we highlight the positive, right? Be positive, be grateful, which I still always think and say it's true to a certain extent. But what we don't talk about enough, I think, is you need to process negative emotions as well. They're as important, if not more. You need to be able to process them. Suppressing those emotions, that's not, like, I did that quite a lot in my life. Don't think that was the right move in all these cases. And processing, it's a beautiful thing what you just said. Like your music, that moment, they needed that. It was a way to process this big thing. So I think there's something to be said about, yes, sure, positivity, but negativity within the right context, it's very healing and helpful to people. So if your music, because from the outside perspective, right? If I show Orphan maybe to like my mom or a family, they're gonna be like, oh my God, like it's difficult to hear at first. But for some people, it's, you know, for some people it is healing and it is a beautiful thing through that anger. So that would be the way for me to see it. It is a beautiful thing, despite how crazy it sounds and how like all that anger, it's helping people. And it's a beautiful thing. So,
I mean, if you could put sound to just the myriad of feelings that humans feel in general, it'd probably be crazier than any, you know, form of music we'd ever hear. I mean, it's, yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like, you know, dude, just being a human, like there's so much to process. Like, I mean, with all the feelings, we hone in on a lot of grief, and that alone in of itself, I think that may be like one of the bigger, difficult things to try and move through life while you assess your relationship with it, because it touches on, well, the one big thing we don't know, which is like where do you go when this is over, or where have people gone that you've lost, where did they go? But the level of insanity I think that can cause in someone unaddressed, it would just make you dead inside, or just completely go nuts. Like you have to try to put some kind of attention on it, even if the ultimate conclusion is you don't know. just acknowledging that you feel the way that you feel, like what you said earlier. I mean, we all know this. It's been said like numerous times that you cannot put a lid on how you feel, especially significant feelings like love or hate or grief or, you know, big like life moving emotions. You need to be honest with all of those things, because you can't like it, especially with things in the way that the fucking human brain works, is if we are at a disadvantage constantly with our brain because of, you know, just how it's set up to take feelings and then keep itself safe from those feelings, and then all the byproducts you get of all that. So it's I think very important that you, just going back to what you said, negative or positive, shine a light on all of it, because like it'll take your ass if you don't, because it's all screaming for attention. And I think the only way that you figure anything out is by opening the box up on all of it. I don't know. I think that's probably the first way I would answer your question. That's a big subject. Like,
it's a big thing. I keep like I'm going with but it's very interesting, and it's not every day you can talk about you know, that kind of stuff. Like, it sounds stupid, but you cannot talk about these things with that many people really gets it or are real about these things, right? And I do understand, I do get it. It is intimidating to fully be yourself and to be real. There's a big level, we don't talk about that, but it's being vulnerable, basically. If you're exposing yourself in a world where everything is online and stuff like that, being yourself, it sounds like a good idea and easy and the right thing to do, and to be real, you're also very vulnerable, and you don't really have this defensive wall. Now people can come at you any way they can. So to be able to have a beautiful conversation like that with real people that can open and talk about these things, it is very special. It's I'm going to speak for them, but it's like one of our favorite things, if not our favorite thing, since we started this. So
it's one of my favorite things in general, for sure. I love this. Like, this is not a common occurrence for me. But it's one of the most like productive things I think you could talk about. So I agree.
It's it is fucked up how, because you mentioned how like your brain is working against you. Like, it is fucked up that like we're set up in a way where we have to battle ourselves to survive. Really you know, like why is it like that? Like,
I don't know. I mean, probably just like trying to survive.
Yeah, but it's counterproductive, right? Like, ultimately, it's
it's counterproductive. Like, you have to like stay on top of it, like the world's worst like manager or something. Because it's like, if it's too scared, it'll avoid things and then just make you disassociate. And if it's too angry, it will like lash out and just destroy stuff that you don't need destroyed. Like, it's you have to stay on top of it.
Yeah,
but I think, you know, like it's crazy, but like conversations like that, just talking about it, like you never know when it's the right moment for someone to, sometimes they won't tell you, they won't show you that moment changer, but maybe it does. Maybe just like being able to openly talk about it, because there's actually a lot of people who don't want to have anything. You opening, they don't know how to react, which I understand, but I've seen that quite a lot in life. Like, people they share, and it's like a deep, maybe something deeper or very negative, and people are just, they're not built for that, so they're just like they don't know how to react. So
I interrupted, sorry.
No problem. I was about to let you, because that was kind of my point anyway. So
well, you don't, so like even the byproducts of a conversation that we're having like this, you know, in a public forum, even more public after if you put it on YouTube, the reason like stuff like this is important is because there might be someone watching this, for example, that doesn't even know how to use words to have a conversation like this, or how to or even maybe not have a concept. I mean, this was me for quite some time, not even have a concept of acceptance that you can be that vulnerable and be safe. Like it's not like life or death. That it's not as dangerous of a place for you to like put yourself in. I think that was just it. I had an abstract thought about people listening to this and how that could be good. So
no, but it's a beautiful thought. I think it's a similar conversation with like how you resonated with music, you know, through your music with people. And I'm seeing a lot of that, you know, in the chat and everything. But it is a beautiful thing to be able to express yourself safely, because not to go, that's another huge topic. But like I feel like we're very quick to, if somebody says something wrong, or if somebody in society says something that we decided is, instead of educating and trying to have like a polite conversation, we're very quick with just like, that person is like we're quick to attack. So it becomes like super intimidating when it should just be as simple as, hey, not the best way to say that, my friend. Like that might not be, you know, you're hurting people when you say things or whatever. So I feel like it's important no matter where it is, because yes, I'm a dreamer, but I'm not naive enough to think that the internet is going to become a complete safe space someday. Like I'm not that much of a dreamer. But what I can say though is, within your life, you need at least one safe space like this. For anybody watching, no matter who it is, sometimes unfortunately you're not lucky in terms of like family or whatever it is, but you can find your people. The beauty of it, can find your people. You get to choose who are those people. I'm so sorry I get super deep for right now with this.
I am 100% with it, and to the people that don't even have anyone, and this sounds crazy if you don't like have a reference, but you can even find it if you're the only person that you have. I mean, there's some folks out there that don't, that there is no wingman, or you know, there's no home base for whatever reason. But you can still, well, that's probably even where some of the most important vulnerability work is being vulnerable with yourself. At which, I mean, I think that, and I'm not a fucking psychologist, so, but there is a lot that you can get some clarity on by just opening up a dialogue with yourself of like, how do you feel right now? And then answer back with like no bullshit, like completely honest. Even if it makes you feel so absolutely uncomfortable, you can't hardly even, you're just terrified of it. Because that's going to be the first step to, well, or even if you have been doing that, it's a continuous first step to digging deeper and getting more clarity on moving things out of your own way so that you're not like contorted in your own life. I'll stop there. We could talk hours going in that direction, but
it's because we love these topics. Like I'm speaking for both of us, but like we keep saying that's, you know, that's so real. And again, you can do a parallel with so much in music and what we do, right? Like if we connected with music at some point, if we love it that much and we're here today, it's because it emotionally something happened. It would make no sense. Like I would probably be in my car and listen to the radio, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and thank God that's not what I'm doing. Maybe I would look a bit more normal and maybe a lot of my life would have been easier, I guess. But I think we're also grateful to, you know, that music can connect in that way, and those conversation also can do that. That level of vulnerability sometimes can only be, for some people, can be reached only through music or listening to different things, and that's I think that's there's magic in that. Sometimes words, and it's coming from me, cannot shut up for 1 second in life. I talk way too much, but sometimes there's no words in some situations, right? The message you receive, like, and some people write to me with stuff like that sometimes, and there are some situations where there's no words, when words are worse because it diminish.
Yeah, like, I need to give you a hug, like.
Yeah. There are no words, and I think sometimes, and you gave a really good example of that. Sometimes it's music. It's music talking. Like, it's no words. It's not even necessarily the lyrics, but it's what's happening in the moment. And I think that's very powerful, because words sometimes, again.
You mentioned connecting a lot to more instrumental kind of electronic type music, right? Which is like completely devoid of, being attached to the lyrics themselves, right?
I mean, at least the way I tend to experience sounds, that it definitely seems like that more for me. I mean, it makes sense to me because words are like, they're sounds that we're making, to like try to tell you that, like, what's in here. I'm trying to get it out to you in a way that you can get it in there and maybe understand where I'm coming from. But I don't know. I think, at least for me, it feels like music speaks more clearly than most words, if we're just talking about that specifically. Yeah, I mean, and this isn't in like an edgy way or anything like that, but dude, fucking breakdowns. I mean, like a good one. I will get feelings from those when they're done right, like I would listening to work from Beethoven, or I don't know, not Beethoven, but like one of my favorite ambient artists or something. It hits the same emotion, and I don't know, I love that. I don't think I was going anywhere with that.
Well, I'm curious now. What are some goated breakdowns that make you feel something?
We have to ask. Yeah, no, I would have been. Yeah.
I'd be curious in general, like, I guess music that, because you asked us, but we didn't get that from you. Like, music that makes you feel something, like whether it be breakdowns or not. I'm kind of curious. Do you have like specific artists or?
Yes, breakdowns. I do all this big talk, and now I, on the spot, can't think of the breakdown.
Your defense, it's always difficult on the spot, though. Like, if you ask me something like that, I blank for no reason, and then 5 minutes after the interview, everything comes back. I should have said that. Like,
yes.
Still worse.
Well, let's see. The dude, and I know y'all know, but Without a Face, dude, the fucking breakdown where Kevin lets in the song Resentment, where he lets out that absurdly just high yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't had anything
over here, so
I know, I've noticed that, and I think that's awesome. That made me like almost wreck my car when I heard it for the first time. It's that middle breakdown in Resentment, where I think you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yes.
Dude, so there's the first one off the top of my head. Shout out Kevin Rowley, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I don't think you understand by saying all that how happy you're making Kevin right now, but because openly he's like, you're his biggest, like, you guys, it's biggest influence ever in music. It probably, I mean, he told you for sure, but
he said. It hadn't said quite. I don't know about that, but
okay. He's being all cool around you. Okay.
Well, he's not like a
he just
a
crept
cool
up in
guy.
chat while we're talking about this. Okay, I see how it is.
Dude, like it couldn't have made it clearer than that. Like, my English isn't the best, but let me tell you one thing. I got that part right. Like, he's very big, and there's nothing wrong with that. Quite the opposite. But he said, like, he wouldn't be doing Without a Face and what he's doing right now if there's no Orphan before.
Oh goodness,
you guys.
That's crazy. He's said, just express appreciating the music, but like, you never pick up. The dude is so like respectful and chill to talk to. I don't get vibes off of him that's anything but just respectful and chill. He doesn't go out of his I don't know, but man, meeting that guy was like kind of crazy, uh, but really fun. He's like one of the funnest uh, clients I've had to like do any graphic work for. Um, and I asked him if it would be okay for me to mention it, but whatever his next release is, I know I'm gonna be on it, and I'm dumb stoked. So that'll be really fun.
Let
Very,
me tell
very
you one
excited.
thing: you won't be the only one being stoked when that.
Oh yeah,
that's, I mean, that's I couldn't. Every single time I can shout out without a face. I think it's been very,
oh, yeah.
very, very clear. But it's also it comes back to, and not to give, because at this point Kevin is a friend, and it's gonna seem like I'm just like glazing and stuff like that. But
Oh yeah,
seriously, earlier in the conversation, I said like people with a vision, people that are real and can bring a project.
yes,
I would consider Kevin like that. Like
I
definitely, very
100%.
easily.
100%. He when he hit me up to do the Rat Poison EP, I he seemed a little bit familiar, but he turned out to be a producer on for a couple of rappers that I enjoy. And I was like, oh, crazy! Like I follow your work, and I was like, what is this project for? And he's like, it's just kind of like a little side project thing. He was like, yeah, he does a lot of work and like, just like a little side project thing. I was like, well, that's cool. And I didn't hear any of it. He just gave me the general direction, and I got all the artwork made. I think the logo first and then the art. Sometime working around the art, he just nonchalant was like, here's a demo if you want to hear it. And I was like, yeah, I'll listen to it. I don't know this guy. And so I'm like, it could be,
Oh, right. It could be,
it could be
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Actually,
And
to be fair, also, the odds of it being good are pretty low.
yes,
If
very.
anything.
And I put that shit on and was like, whoa, no, hold on. I had to like rewind it because it stopped me from what I was doing because it was like it's just good. And as he like kept developing it, he would like send me an updated demo like as the process was going on, and you just hear more of it coming together. That whole thing you said about like a visionary, I would definitely agree with that for him. I hope his shit blows up. I don't know what he wants to do with it exactly, but if he wants it to, I hope it pops off because it's good.
I read something something to the effect of like you made like way more artwork because you were just too fucking stoked about it type of thing. Like while working on it, you were like,
Oh, I mean, it wasn't anything like I don't need a Nobel Peace Prize for it, but I think I gave him like, it might have been like his, I think like his social headers or something like that.
oh no,
Like
but
the
I don't
header
even mean
pick.
like in terms of like what the deliverables were. But I just remember reading something about like, yeah, I'm really fucking stoked about this. So like, I just it couldn't just be this type of thing. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to do more.
Oh, 100%. I told him when we wrapped up Rat Poison that you're like one of my favorite people to work with on this, and I would love to do anything that you would like my art on. And he keeps hiring me, so I'm really thankful like for a client and also to just be part of something that's dope, and hear like good heavy new music, and it's just coming from like this one dude. Or I think he writes all their stuff. I'm not exactly sure.
For without the like, yeah, I would say so. He's doing pretty much everything. Like because same as you, like when we had him on, I never stopped talking to him ever since. Like we had him on the podcast and I was just like, we're the same. Because in terms of like how we are and anxiety and just like our brain, same person. Like I feel like I'm talking to, like it's almost like a mirror. So we never stopped talking. And when he sends me something, it's to the point where, oh, it's gonna be good. Like he's doing like anything he's doing, like whether it's like guitar, whatever, like drums, whatever. I receive it and it's gonna be like heavy, like crazy, and it's gonna be good, and it's gonna sound like he's insane, and it's gonna be great. And so the vision thing is definitely there, and it links to another conversation because you did the art, and we often had the discussion on here about the importance of the art piece, right? And we also talked about being real and stuff like that. So it makes sense to me that you love doing art in that way, because I think a lot of artists maybe overlook that step, or maybe maybe overlook, like don't put enough importance in the artwork where it should be very
for sure
important,
like it's an extension of the music at the very
exactly
least, right?
Yeah, I would agree that. Well, for me, that's definitely how I feel. Well, and it also, like, I guess I'm like lucky that I'm interested in doing art and can do it for my own band. But dude, like how many revisions of an album art in other bands that you get back and you're like, dude, this is like not hitting the mark. That I think I just kind of, I think I got into graphic art, if I remember right, out of necessity for one of the bands I was in. I can't remember, for merch, because we didn't have money to hire like someone to design merch. And there was a local guy in the scene that got me a bootleg copy of like Photoshop 2 or something like that. I just like dinosaur version of Photoshop. And I just had been messing with it since then. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed that until Orphan, though, like being able to do all the visuals for that and get it like exactly how we want it. That's been very nice.
Can you kind of speak to the artwork around Orphan? Because I feel like it's very I don't know how to put it. It's very delicate in contrast to like a logo aside. In contrast to like most of the music, there's like a contrast there. I'm a sucker for contrast, so I love it. But
for sure.
Is there anything you can speak to in terms of the art direction for Orphan?
This is probably a boring answer, but I think it kind of comes back to, if I'm saying this correctly, what I said earlier about that gray area that's really special, but you don't really talk about it. Like you give it your full attention, but you don't know how to talk about it. Because we never had like a conversation about, well, what about flowers or anything floral? There's nothing like that. I think if I remember correctly, I was just messing around with an idea, and I don't know why, but flowers came to mind, because I personally, I love flowers. And
oh yes,
yeah, and so I just put together a mock idea, and we both looked at it and we're like, that's it. That's it. But and it's like we know why, but don't know why. So if that,
well, I mean, look, sometimes it's as simple as like, this looks fucking cool as shit, right? Like,
right. Yeah. And
sometimes it doesn't even need to be like deeper than that, right? This sounds cool as shit, or this is cool. This looks cool as shit. Like, sometimes it's just not that deep. We talk about this about tattoos all the time, right? It's just kind of like, what's the meaning behind your tattoo? Nah, right. Miss me with that shit. Like, it's a fucking, it's a skeleton on a hot dog. Like, don't think about it too much.
That might be Orphan's artwork. I don't know. It might not even be deep and we don't know it. I think that one thing that we for sure wanted to, or want at least so far to be representative, is just like what you said a minute ago, delicateness, if that's a word, for obvious reasons. Like, if you read the lyrics to any of those songs, maybe it is the contrast, like you said, of just that, I guess, sound. Maybe I don't really know. I know there's a sentiment,
though.
it seems like they like each other, you know, like the visuals and the sounds. It seems like, but I don't know. That's interesting.
I'd agree. I think yeah, there is sometimes artwork that you look at the art and you're like, oh, this was like a weird choice for the music type of thing, you know? And this doesn't feel like that whatsoever. Like for outside looking in, this to me, I've always found fits really well. I like the idea of like a sigil as well. There isn't really like an Orphan logo, right? It's just the sigil. I love shit like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm about it.
I have to say that reminded me of a funny story. I have a friend, shout out Big D, shout out Dishonored, New York Beatdown. They are this like just pissed off little like just beatdown band from New York, and they put out an EP called 7-Ton Bridge, if I remember that right. And the album artwork is just like this dusk silhouette picture of just this massive industrial looking beat up, like probably like, I think it was like a railroad bridge. And I saw him sometime after they put it out and I was like, hey, I got a question. I was like, did you name this EP that and put that album artwork up just because it's fucking ignorant? And he laughed and he was like, yeah. It was like, there's nothing to it. And I was like, I fucking love that.
There's bands like that, like Big Ass Truck and shit like that, where you're just like, you know, it's just, don't think about it too much. It's just fucking badass, you know?
I think it goes with the conversation we had earlier as well. Like you said, when you hear music, sometimes it's not really, you cannot really put it into words. It's just you feel it and you know it's right. I think artworks can work the same way. Like I'm looking at the image with the flowers and everything. Like what it invokes is just like it's also very dark. Like if you look, there's like a matte black. Like it's also kind of, it's almost this eerie like peacefulness to it, like that and maybe I'm looking too much into it, but that's what I got from it. It's like it's like dark at the same time, even though it's like a beautiful thing. It's like flowers, but it's also dark. So that's personally what I got, but I think it works. Looks sick.
I haven't even thought about any of that. That's interesting. You just made me think. I haven't done this, and maybe I ought to, just for fun, like look at it and see what it makes me feel. I mean, there is the initial whenever you make it, but like looking more into it, I haven't done that. I might do that just for fun. That's interesting.
I'd be curious.
Yeah. Let me just pull one up right now. Just stare at it live on stream. It makes me feel the next album or release, whenever that is, I'm very excited to release the art for that. It will be the first that we've had that I did not do. Dude, my current favorite photographer, I cannot remember her Instagram handle, but her first name is Gabriella, and she's in Europe. Can't remember what part of Europe. I'm a terrible client, but we hired her to do a well, I don't want to give it away, but it's beautiful, and it definitely reflects the music for sure. But it's really, really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to like get that out. That's kind of vague, but I just wanted to give her a shout out.
Look, any nuggets about anything new Orphan, I'm sure I'm excited about, so I'm sure others as well.
Thank you.
I'd be curious to talk a bit about working with Buster.
Oh, fuck yeah. I love talking about working with Buster. Pardon me. Dude, Buster is awesome. I want to give a quick shout out real quick, because it's worth mentioning, because obviously Buster worked with us on Manifesto. The honorable shout out to Chris Whited from Body Snatcher, because he mixed and mastered Porcelain, but that guy was unspeakably helpful with a lot of technical things on my end that I was having issues with, as far as like with my DAW, and just working with him in general. I know you didn't ask about that album, but I needed to like do credit
Hey,
where
we're here for some Chris Whited glaze. We
Of
love
course. Yeah,
the
no.
man, so we'll allow
Yes.
it.
yes, dude is 100% goated. Buster is awesome. I had to apologize to Buster because so obviously, like, we knew about Humanity's Last Breath. I've listened to them like since high school or something like that. When we were doing all the promo for Orphan, and we didn't pick this up or really realize it until much later. Buster had DM'd our band page, and I was like, "Hey, I really want to mix your stuff," but at the time we were getting just like junk mail like out the ass, and we didn't look to see who he was. We just saw this offer, and we were both like, "Dude, fuck this guy." Like, we don't know who this is. we don't know who this is. And so we just fucking left him on red. And it wasn't until we were doing, I think, getting ready to start tracking for Manifesto and figuring out who we wanted to like work on it. And somehow, I don't remember how it came, Josh either ran across the message, or maybe it was like after we had done Porcelain, we realized that he did Humanities. It was something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, we got back on Instagram and messaged him again. I was like, "Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to like leave you on red, but we'd love to work with you." And he was very cool and like picked it back up. I sometime last year went to see him in Dallas, first time meeting in person. And when we were hanging out, I was like, "Hey, I gotta say, really apologize for that." And I told him the whole story I just told you guys. It was like not intentional in any of that. But dude, working with Buster is awesome. He is, in my opinion and experience, so just tapped in with it's, I don't know, it's like he's telekinesis or whatever that is. It's like he knows what you are saying, even if you're not explaining it right. When we sent in Manifesto, we said, we sent him the raw tracks for everything. Or like, we want, this needs to be as over the top as you are comfortable making it. Like, it needs to be borderline inaudible. Like, the guitar tone needs to be absurd. The China needs to just dominate the mix. Like, yeah, you know.
1000%.
Oh yeah. And it was like, I think we had like maybe one revision from the first. He nailed it almost instantly.
Wow. For context, by the way, for people watching, this is extremely rare. One revision, almost never happens.
Yeah. I think
with
like
audio, not in person, trying to discuss audio through fucking emails, forget it.
Yes.
For context, like 4 revision is already very good. Just 4, it's like, oh wow, it went pretty well. So 1 revision meant like he got it like instantly.
I'm telling you, the guy is, I mean, and I'm not ashamed of like glazing anyone up, but this is just real. I really think that dude he's on something. I don't know what, like, he's tapped into it somehow. And not like, and not even like per genre, but like per like tones and frequencies. Like, he knows how to make it like just hit. Which is about as technical as I can speak. but
I think to your point, your guys's, like, that album it's a very unique mix. Like, it does not sound like another album I've heard. And a lot of that, sure, is songwriting and you guys and all, but a big component to it, I think, is the mix. And it's cool with Buster because it's not like he does, like, sure, he does other like heavy productions for sure. Humanity's Last Breath is heavy as balls, but it's so fucking different than what Orphan is, and like the sound that you guys are trying to achieve with that. And to me, that's just like the mark of a good like engineer, producer, whatever. Like he's not just good at slapping a preset on a fucking guitar track,
exactly,
or being a one-trick pony with like, people come to me for this sound, you know what you're gonna get when you come to me because it always sounds like this type of thing. Like he is truly a dude who's able to take whatever project and make that sound how as best as he can for that specific need. And he really hit something special with your guys' EP. I don't know what it is. I can't describe it in technical terms either, but it's so fucking loud and in your face. But
you
somehow
hear everything.
You do hear
I
it.
know it.
That's what's fucked up about that mix is you can still hear everything despite the chaos and how fucking compressed and like in your face everything is, which is like so fucking rare, dude.
Never happens.
I haven't
pretty
heard
much. Usually it's like, oh, I wish we could hear maybe more of this. It feels like now everybody could be excited. Someone who's more about guitar, someone who's more about like not to get too much specific, but I mean like you hear all the highlights are there. It's almost impossible with a mix. Usually it's like compromise. It's like, okay, let's put that louder. That part's we're gonna hear more of the vocals. It feels like there's no compromise on that. Like you can hear everything clearly. Not to cut you off, done by the way, but
dude, I asked him sometime later what the guitar chain was, and he broke it down to me, and it's like some discontinued, I think it's like a emulation of like a 6505 or something like that, but it's like a discontinued plug-in because I was gonna get it to write with it, but you can't anymore. But the signal chain was like that, and like two of the pedals that came with that preset, and just looking at, and I don't remember the name, but looking at the website and just the breakdown of it, it was so simple. And I was like, how did you do that? Like, I don't get it. Like, and I didn't get to use the plugin, but just reading like what the pedals would do to just the chain, I don't think would be that. He's a wizard. He's a wizard, Harry. Like he knows what he's doing.
Crazy. And to Dom's point, like Dom's earlier, you said like I don't think I heard something as heavy as that in my life. Like seriously, like we on this this podcast we talk a lot about back in the days, 2008, 2009. It was all about trying to be the heaviest thing. I think you guys won. I think you won. I think you won the heavy, like, let's be the heaviest thing. I mean that. Like, even myself, I don't think I've ever heard something as heavy. And it's not even, like, usually I hear something super heavy and I kind of laugh or whatever because, like, it's so heavy. And, like, but this is just, like, so much in your face. You're in shock when you hear that. It's insane. So I think you guys won. I'm declaring it.
Well, thank you.
I think
it's official.
You guys won. Yes.
And, I mean, official. It's a for sure partnership because I can't. The demos did not sound like that. So I mean, the it's the humongous portion of that is the sound design for sure. Thank you very much, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean it because it's and I'm sure you guys are going to agree, but like sometimes because I know for a fact that you guys are not sitting down being like, how can we be heavy? It's just you guys, and it sounds like that, and this is what you want to do, but back then there was this weird, like I'm always going to remember when like Oceano drops, it was just like, oh, that's the new kind of heavy, and then King Conquer, oh shit, you can be heavy. Like it was kind of like where's the maximum heaviness type thing. Like
what's the limit we can push here? And to be fair, that limit hasn't been pushed in like over a decade.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I know that I did learn something by working with him that I never really had the luxury of using, was we wrote all that just to our own ears without, we knew that when we sent it to him, it was going to be good. And we had a description of how we kind of envisioned it sounding. But I didn't know that he was gonna like hit it like that. So none of the something I'm kind of experimenting with right now is um, writing, knowing how it's gonna sound on the back end,
Sure, sure.
which feels like a secret weapon, you know, because you're like,
Yeah.
if I can get this as accurate to feel right now, once we get it back, it'll be even more, because we noticed that with Manifesto that we're solid as a brick on it. When we sent it to him, we're like, this is ready and good. And when we got the mixes back, we were just like, it's like even better. Like, even though it didn't affect the structure or the music writing, you know, those are all still in place. Just the effect that those tones had it just elevated it. So
Yeah, it's like the the warning you give your friend every time you send them over a demo. You know that they cannot imagine what you're hearing in your brain of how you think it's gonna sound like at the end, but you have to you have to mention it. You cannot not say, but it's just the demo, don't worry, it's gonna be like this and that. You have to say it. But and for yourself now, because now you're like, okay, now I've got like another vision for this thing, how it can sound.
I think the if I remember right, I'd have to ask Josh because I can't quite remember, but I think what we had heard was we gave him like kind of like tone direction was more on the side of like, if you're gonna mix like a Nails album, like a grindcore album, just very over the top, unnecessarily over the top. And somehow he took that and made it articulate and unstable all at the same time. So I don't know.
Putney is another, like, speaking of Nails, like Putney is another guy that's fucking awesome at doing that specific thing, like the super gritty, heavy as fuck, but somehow still kind of clear mix.
Dude is responsible for
there's
some...
very few people that pull that off. It's a unique talent to mix like that, for sure.
Do you guys y'all fuck around with Throne at all?
Yeah, sure.
I know some of it. I should hear more of it, to be honest, which I think, Dom, you mentioned it a few times. Like, and you should listen to it. Yeah, that's my fault. But
I really, really enjoy them. That's it, as you know, some more of his work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, he like bounces around in that. He like plays drums, but guitar, but produces, but
I don't know, but I think he writes everything other than lyrics. That's just my guess, just by looking. And I think he plays drums for them live sometimes. Yeah. I'm not really sure what their like dynamic is on like floating members.
I think he's not even always with them live, depending on other commitments and whatnot. But yeah, Buster's insane, man.
But these kind of people, like, they're at a level where just their opinion and input can change everything. I'm not even like, I'm serious. Like, just having their opinion, even not with them working on it, just sending something and hearing from those people can change, everything. When you get to that level, it feels like that. And I think that's why most bands that works with people, like, they almost consider them in the project because they have that level of, importance.
Impact and
impact.
I'll tell you this much. So, he works predominantly with like heavier music. I have a side project. It's like a trap side project, and I sent my stuff to him to get mixed down, and it was exactly that, where I would have like a build up into a drop. He would like add like a quick like dead silence right before the drop that like made it hit even harder, and I didn't even ask him to. Like, his ear for just music in general, I think is special for sure.
That's a metalhead thing. It's like a known thing. Like, all the fucking producers out in Nashville are all fucking not ex metalheads, but like they all come from metal. Like, it's there's something about, like, if you're able to mix metal, you're probably able to mix everything else. Like it's like the hardest thing that you can kind of like to work on, right? So a lot of these like people that end up doing like these big fucking pop or country artists are all metalheads.
I've noticed that too.
Just one of those things.
I've heard someone say that they feel like it's because metal is like one of the only genres where everything's at like 10 from start to finish.
Yeah,
and so
everything's competing.
So learning to find balance in that translates over really well from what I hear.
All right. Last little thing here. We're gonna wind this down.
I could talk for another 2 hours. Just FYI, this is a blast.
Me too. But we're
Dude,
look. Mark my words. We gotta have you back, man. Because this was way too much fucking fun, man. And there's so much more we could talk. Look, we're talking about some new music eventually and stuff. There's gonna have to be a pit stop over here. All right, let's end this with tell me a little bit about Flesh. Because we're talking about the heaviest fucking music out there. Talk to me about Flesh.
I love Flesh. Okay. I mean, other than just being a humongous fanboy, I don't know. I found them in like 2019, I think, a year after their EP dropped. Never heard of them before or again. There's no relatability to any of the lyrics because you can't find the lyrics and you cannot distinguish what anything is that's being said. And that whole sounds talking like more than words is like big for me with them. They're just relentless. And I deep dived on them as much as I could. I can't find like, I think I even fanboyed out and messaged what I thought was one of their guitarists, like the almost damn near deactivated Instagrams. It's just like totally like naked. I did, dude, like every member that I could find, which is only like 2, I think, all their shit is like either like locked or like super old. And they didn't like see any of the messages. But who did I find?
They're doing what you did to Buster. I see.
Yeah,
that's just karma right there.
Exactly. It's what I fucking get. I did find, I think through, and I had to use ChatGPT to help me find this. I found the guy that mixed and mastered it, and I think it was 2 months ago. I did reach out to him, and he did reply. And I just asked him like some nerd questions about like how certain things involved in the mix. And he was awesome. And I think his name is Peter. I can't remember. I'm bad with names. But he was really cool. And he was like, that was one of my favorite mixes ever. And he told me like, he was very gracious with all the info, but, Flesh just slaps. It's just ass beat from start to end. And I'm not like, I mean, I guess I don't know that I'm like a slam head or like much into specifically slam, but if I could say what I think a flagship or like flag holder would be for that genre, it's 100% Flesh. It's ignorant.
It's got the slam for sure, but it's kind of like brutal death at the same time. Obviously, there's always a lot of crossover there, but it's got a similar kind of that guttural even that you do, like the low tone kind of all the way fucking through. It's just like a ton of bricks from start to finish.
There's like
the concrete, the brick on the concrete, you know, kind of sound like it's so good, dude.
I love it. I encourage anyone who likes heavy music to check it out. I think they're sick. They used to be a band. I might have this wrong, but before they were Flesh, they were a deathcore band. I think it was Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think I read that somewhere when I was trying to deep dive myself. Yeah.
And then they like disbanded and then just decided to make this disgusting Flesh. I think the reason that like it just stands out to me is when it came out, the fact that they just showed up, dropped it, and bounced, like that was it. And they didn't. I mean, I wasn't around I didn't know them back then, so I don't know if they played with like hype or hints to new music. I'm not sure, but as far as what's recorded, they showed up, promoted it for like 3 posts, dropped it, and then that was it. And for something to just sound so just unhinged, like even like in the production, to just blip up on the radar and then that's it. I'm fascinated by it.
This is so ironic coming from your mouth saying that. Come on.
Well, I'm doing a podcast. Like I can't even find these guys.
That is true. That is true. Mister, we have no posts on our Instagram over here.
Well, I mean, all right. Well, I guess you got me on that.
Now
one.
he's gonna start doing some, some sketches and some.
Right. You've got us on retainer
TikTok.
to help you with your socials from now on. So yeah.
There you go.
Got a different side to Orphan.
Full marketing, like, new version.
Yes.
Sketches every day. You know, it's all gonna be scripted.
Yeah, everything.
Influencers shouting you guys out, the whole thing.
Dude, 15 posts a day. Yeah, big.
Every time you're in your car, what's up, guys? Every day we're going
fucking
daily
Jacob
vlogs.
with Orphan, just going to get a cheeseburger.
There we go. Yeah, it would do well. That's the.
It would, which is it's terrible.
It actually would. The contrast would make it so fucking funny.
Yes.
But,
Yeah. Watch. Let's do that for like a month straight, just relentless, and then just drop off again.
There we go. We're getting on the social experiment side of things here, but
I hope nobody watches this so they don't expect it. This is the new strategy.
Look, I'll delete this part from the video.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Make it a real plan.
Dude, this was so much fucking fun, man.
I'm just gonna say, I think it might be my favorite. I'm not saying that just because you're still here. Seriously, I think it's my top episode in terms of just what we talk and you, and so it was absolutely incredible. Had a freaking blast.
Big mutual feeling for sure. I'm here for it. It's nice to talk with folks that are just like genuine people. Like I appreciate it. I appreciate like the sincerity and just wanting to talk about something, with all due respect, besides the music. It's just refreshing. So y'all are a absolute treat to chat with. So hit me up if you want to do it again.
Thank you. We definitely will.
Definitely will, man. For sure, man. This was so fucking cool, man. And again, look, like we're both massive fans of the band. We can't wait for whatever you guys end up cooking, whatever that is. And it was genuinely really awesome just to get to know you a little bit better. And we alluded to the fact that the band's kind of cryptic and they kind of just show up and leave. But it is cool to get this sort of a conversation, not necessarily like out there, but selfishly for me, it was cool to talk to you, about all this stuff. Again, because that's the kind of shit we nerd out about. So,
well, for sure,
this is really awesome, man.
I know I don't want to ag too on or long because I know you need to shut it down, but y'all are really good conversationalists, at least from this experience, because it's hard, or it has been in the past, to talk about stuff like this without it feeling like I'm being forced to talk about me. And I'm like, which I don't have a problem with, but like, does that make sense? It doesn't feel pigeonholed like that. It's just nice. So thanks.
Thank you. That's the way we like to approach things as well, because it's very, in some weird way, like you say, I need to talk about me. To us, it feels a little more, it's almost dehumanizing to just like see. I think it's better to just approach it as a conversation. We talk about stuff together. Like, let's see who you are for real in that context, instead of just like, trapping you always like, oh, what do you think of this? I think it's cooler to just
a list of questions on a page.
Yeah.
You know those type of interviews where you can tell like there was an obvious follow-up question to ask to what the dude said, but they just go on to the next question they have on their notepad. You're like, dude, come on, man, what are we doing here? So
right.
I don't know. We try to not be that, but you know, some people might think we talk too much. You know, they want to hear the guest talk more, but that's kind of like what makes the conversation be a conversation. You know,
well,
so
that's
I do
100%.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you listen, y'all's voices. This is my favorite kind of conversation because it's not just an info dump. You know, you're getting like, I'm sitting here looking at both of y'all, and one of us will say something that makes the other like think about something. You just go back and forth. It's just a fucking good conversation. I mean, I would watch this kind of content all the time.
Oh,
Thank you for real. Like, and I meant it like the whole time. I know Dom, I know myself how we are. And during the conversation, I was like, he's gonna have to come back. Like if any chance that makes sense, he's gonna have to come back, because like that's what we enjoy doing. Like honestly, today is the perfect. If I could picture like one good example of like why we love doing this so much, this entire conversation, like that experience is ultimate for us. So thank you, I guess, for offering us.
Appreciate you so much, man. No, thank you. No, you. I love you more.
Up.
No,
Yeah,
you hang up, man.
You hang up first.
Okay, for sure. Well, thank y'all very much for having me. I thank you also to, I only glanced at it a couple of times, but a lot of lovely things, supportive things in the chat. Anyone that was tuning in, dropping any love for anything we're doing, very much appreciate it.
Hell yeah, man. So we'll have to talk soon. Enjoy the rest of your night, my man, and we'll be in touch.
Sounds good. Y'all have a lovely evening.
You too, man.
Okay,
Peace
man.
out.
Take care.
All right, fellas.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world, and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.